I'm going to be completely honest with you. I think that many men's over like many men being overly concerned with a woman's body count is useless. It really comes off kind of weak to me, and I'm going to explain why. I'm going to explain why. I think a woman's body count after you can kind of matter depending on what type of relationship you want to have. Her body count during you. There's something that may be something that is more your concern, but before you, this is why it shouldn't be as important. Now, do I think you should know? Yeah, I think you should know, but I don't think you should know just for the purpose of wanting to dismiss a woman if it's like over 5 or over 10 or something like that, or over 15. It's like that's not that big of a deal. Like, the issue is this right here. There are a list of things that make men want to avoid women who have higher body counts. And some of these things are fraudulent, and some of these things are about correlation and not causation. So one thing may be that if she's had sex with multiple men, she may have multiple baby fathers, or she may have multiple children. Some women know how to have sex without having kids, right? So she's probably good on that one, right? She's not going to be that good at hiding her children. Multiple baby fathers may be a deal breaker for some, it may not be a deal breaker for others, but it is something that can add stress to a situation, so I can understand that. But a woman's body count isn't really what indicates that. It's, does she have those children? The next thing is sexually transmitted infections. A woman can, I'm gonna go back one more. That woman can have all of those kids with the same man and have never been married to that man. Let's go to the next thing. It's a situation of sexually transmitted infections. A woman can catch multiple STDs from one man on one night, and that could be a man who may have raped her or something like that. It's not just by STIs either, because a woman could have slept with 40 dudes and never caught anything. Maybe she was a combination of responsible and lucky, and she just knew how to pick the dude she was fucking with. So that's cool too. It's one of those things where the body count itself is not the indicator of whether or not she has an STI. You know, I know guys who have been with women like upwards of like around 100 women, and they were yet to catch anything. And I know people who slept with less than 20 and caught something they can't get rid of. It's like, it's just one of those things to where you have to understand that there's correlation and then there's causation. And sometimes that correlation isn't as accurate as you think it's going to be. The next thing is the prospect of overstimulation. Now, I'll say this, when it comes to the prospect of overstimulation, a woman could have been with one guy, but that dick could have been out of this world to her. Their chemistry could have been out of this world. And you may not be able to compare it to that as far as the feeling that you give her. A woman could have been with 20 dudes and all of them had trash dick, so you just gonna blow them out the water. You know what I mean? Like, I've been with women who weren't with that many guys, but I wasn't the best. You know what I mean? Of course, maybe skill wise, I may have known more, but maybe our chemistry just wasn't all the way up there. But I've also been with women who've been with many guys, and I stuck out to where they'll do whatever for me, and they'll make it clear that that's how they was feeling me, with no guarantee or no even idea of a relationship anywhere in sight. I've been with women who've been with another thing about the overstimulation thing may be dick size. I've been with women who have been exposed to multiple dicks. Multiple dicks, and mine was the biggest. But I've also been with women who only been with like 5 guys, and I was somewhere in the middle. So there's that aspect. There's the overstimulation. There's the pair bonding thing. I don't think that's really a thing. I don't think people have soul ties with every single person that they have sex with, for one. I do think that the whole no limit soldier thing is a factor. I talk about no limit soldiers. A woman can have multiple men that she slept with without having slept with them at the same time. And as long as she's not sleeping with multiple men at the same time, she's sleeping with you, which is not really your concern unless you're interested in making her your girl. It don't really matter, because what happens with that, like the pair bonding thing, is not really that true. That's not even about human beings. That's about other animals. That pair bonding stuff. A woman, like, I've been with women who got attached to me from sex, and they've been with many dudes. So it's like it's not about the number of men that she's been with. It's like that's not really the factor. That's not really the thing that's right there. It's like you're overly concerned about the wrong shit. But I do get it though, that it's like there's the prospect of overstimulation. I don't think that a man needs to overlook that factor. I just don't think that the number of men that a woman's been with is going to be the determining factor. I think what a lot of men are just afraid of is comparison. But if you know that you are skilled, the more men she's been with, there may be a greater chance that she's encountered overstimulation, but there's also maybe a greater chance that she's going to be realistic about what she wants or realistic about what good sex is. If a woman's only been with three dudes and you're the third dude and the first two dudes were mandingo, then even if you have a larger side, like a dick that's on a larger side, she may feel like your dick is small compared to the other one she's been with because that's what her experience is. If a woman's been with 40 dudes, 20, 30 dudes, 15 guys, then she's going to have a more realistic understanding about what dick size is because of the amount of men that she's been with. You got to understand what I'm saying. So it's like, there is a little bit of a wiggle room. Another thing is a man may say, okay, well, she's been with all these guys and now she's trying to date me. Then that means that she don't value me the same. There may be a little bit of truth to that. But if you're running your program, you're using the biology first approach. See, the biology first approach is something that it gets rid of most of the things that cause sexual insecurity for men. It gets rid of most of them. Why? Because when you're not investing in a woman to have sex with her, you're not going to judge how much she likes you by how little someone else had to invest to have sex with her. Because you're not investing to have sex with her. You're making sex intrinsic. And by making sex intrinsic, all the things that you do with her outside of sex are also intrinsic. So you're not making a bad investment. You're spending time with that woman because you enjoy spending time with her. You're talking to her because you want to fucking talk to her. If you want to just fuck, you can just fuck. Right? Like my personal belief is you shouldn't be trying to date somebody long term unless you don't care. Like you should be in a committed relationship with somebody unless you don't care what they do when you're not around. I'm not saying that cheating is bad. I'm not saying that cheating is something that is just should be overlooked. But what I'm saying is this: you can't control what somebody does when you're not around. So if you're overly concerned with it, it probably means that you're trying to be transactional about how you deal with this individual. And certain situations do call for that, right? But you shouldn't actively seek to be in those type of situations. Another thing is people talk about cheating, right? If she's been with a lot of guys, she's cheating. A woman could have been with four guys, or she could have been with five guys, right? But she could have this one dude who she was fucking with throughout every relationship that she's ever been in, or every relationship that she's had. The next guy started off as the side nigga before she transitioned and she monkey branched to the next guy. And a woman could have been with 20 guys, but she could have not fucked with any of those guys at the same exact time, right? You gotta understand that some women get their pussy a break, some don't. But that doesn't mean that that woman is, just because she's been with a certain number of men, that that woman doesn't have any ability to be loyal. So this is just my thoughts on this whole body count situation. This Brody's take on it. I do understand that, between men and women and how people typically judge things, that how men are judged for sex and how women are judged for sex is different, and it's not a double standard. It's not a double standard, and I made a video about that, misandry and misandry hidden in plain sight. Most men and women, it's not about the prospect of having sex. Is something that men are praised for and women are demeaned for. It's more so a factor of, if you're having sex with women, you're going to be praised for it, and if you're having sex with men, chances are you're going to catch some backlash. So if you're a man, you're having sex with women, you're accomplishing something to an extent. Not really, but you kind of are. And you're going to get some praise for that. If you're a woman and you fucking with women, especially if you're an attractive woman, if you're a femme and you're dealing with other femme, if a man sees you making out with a woman in public, he's going to be more attracted to you. Almost every bio I see on Tinder is a woman saying she's bi. Why is she saying she's bi? She's saying she's bi because she knows that that makes a man more intrigued in her. Whether or not she's interested in actually having threesomes, she knows that saying that she's bisexual is going to make a man more interested. So they're going to say that that's what their sexuality is, even if they only kissed a woman one time in the seventh grade. Pretty much everybody's attracted to women. But whether or not you're a man or a woman, if you're dealing with men or multiple men, you're going to be judged for it because men either sex is going to be somewhat transactional, and if sex is not going to be somewhat transactional, having sex with a man, then it may be the prospect of overstimulation may be there, and that's something that goes on both sides for both men and women. Like a lot of the times that visceral disgust that women experience when they think about a man with another man, and I'm a straight man, but a lot of times that visceral disgust really somewhat comes from a place of sexual insecurity, that she won't be able to make another man feel the same way that another man can, and because she doesn't think that she'd be able to do that, she doesn't know if that man really likes that woman, or if that man is just dealing with her for social validation and security, or whether or not he's going to have certain things in his reputation. And that's the last thing I needed to cover, the reputation thing, right? The reputation thing is that's one where the body count becomes more of an issue. But if you use the biology first approach, and I'm gonna see if I can remember get back on that topic. But if you use the biology first approach, you have a conversation with a woman about her history before you get into a relationship. You know right now that you giving her some sex that's good to her, and just overall y'all really vibing. Then you know her history. When you walk into a room, if there's a guy she fucked with, and y'all can laugh and chuckle about it instead of the dude laughing and chuckling about y'all in the corner. Like, oh, it's just one of those things. Sometimes you just gotta stop being childish and you gotta have real conversations with women, right? But the reputation is a thing too. But the reputation also goes back to, if you're a woman, fuck with a lot of dudes, then it's like either you have a transactional sex, as in you're not really that sexually attracted to the guy, or you're sleeping with dudes who are, you know, are really taking care of business. And then if you're dealing with a guy who's not taking care of business on that same level, or he's approaching you in a way where he's investing in you emotionally and non-sexually in order to gain access to you sexually, or in order to try to establish a relationship, then you may be trading in or settling sexually in order to get the full package in somebody. Now, that's kind of the same thing a woman may be feeling if she's dealing with a guy who's bisexual. So, when we're talking about this whole issue of body counts, it's not necessarily what men think it is. Like a lot of men, they're tripping. And also, I think that a man judging a woman for her body count when he's trying to have sex with her on the first date, like if especially if you're not going to talk to her, she don't have sex with you on the first date. Like me personally, I'm the type of guy where if a woman is not trying to have sex when I'm ready to have sex, then we ain't really ain't got nothing to talk about. Honestly, because if you're not trying to get on my program, am I about to sit here and get on your program? Nah. Like I know my dick is good. I know there's women who want to fuck with me. I know there's women who want to fuck with me so much that they'll put money on it. And if I know that's true, then why am I gonna sit here and let you devalue my sexuality by trying to tell me you rather get to know me first? It's like, no, I'm not gonna trade sex for love. I'm not gonna trade money for I mean, I'm not gonna trade love for sex. I'm not gonna try to get to know you to fuck you. I'm not gonna try to put money in your hand to fuck you, and I'm not gonna try to waste my time and degrade whatever masculine feminine dynamic we could have by over communicating and getting to know you too well ahead of time and ending my ass up in the friend zone. Like I'm not even trying to do all that, right? I'm not. But at the same time, when we're looking at these particular situations and how this shit can work, we just gotta be realistic about things. We gotta be realistic about things. But because I'm the type of man who, if I'm using the biology first approach and I'm dealing with a woman, and before I try to get to know her too well, I'm trying to have sex with her. I don't think it makes no sense for a man who moves that particular way, and who's not going to be entertaining a woman who doesn't show sexual attraction and desire for me. I don't think it makes sense for a man who moves that particular way to be overly concerned with the woman's sexual past. Outside of, is she clean? You can get a woman tested. Does she have kids? You just ask her if she got kids. If she lie about it, charge her. You know, you just look on her social media, see if she got kids, and ask her. You know what I mean? That type of thing, right? And, is she overstimulated? Well, you're gonna know if she's overstimulated or if she's a no limit soldier if when you're having sex with her, she starts to get attached to you, right? Or like this is the thing, you want to start with the biology first approach. If she wants to fuck with you enough to keep fucking with you, and then she doesn't get overly clingy, but she does start to get attached to you, and you're pacing things along, you're making sure she's holding her horses, then as you move along, if she's able to grow that attachment with you at all, then you're not really, it's not necessarily a factor that she's overstimulated. See, you take out that overstimulation factor by whether or not she wants to fuck with you enough and she's sexually attracted to you enough to deal with you on a consistent basis sexually without the promise of a relationship, right? That overstimulation thing is more of a factor if you're dealing with a woman and you're trying to present yourself as the full package or for a relationship, and then she's willing to take that and settle sexually for it. If that woman is overstimulated sexually to where you don't do anything for her, she's not going to be willing to keep fucking with you on a consistent basis without a relationship. And if she is, she's not going to want a relationship with you. So really, that transition from biology first and transitioning from casual sex to a relationship really takes out that factor of the whole overstimulation thing, especially if you're having those honest conversations. If you're having those honest conversations, then you know about her experiences. You can, I've had conversations with women where I had them rank their sexual experiences, their best times. I've had women rank the best head they got, best dick they got, their the best orgasms, their best experiences, and I took that information and I used it to give them even better experiences. So it's the overstimulation thing is a factor, but when you use the biology first approach, if you get further enough into it, it's not as much of a factor. So I just want to talk about this concept of men being overly concerned with a woman's body count shows weakness, but it also shows a lack of intrinsic desire. Because sometimes a man gives a woman a pass, and I should make a video about the pass. That pass is, let's say a woman tells you she's celibate, or a woman tells you, she wants to get to know you first, and she wants to take things slow before she get into sexuality, and you're like, you know what, you seem like a good girl, you seem like a nice girl, you seem like you're not really out there sexually like that, so I'm gonna let you slide. Stop doing that shit. Because when you do that shit, what you're doing is, one, you're letting that woman feel entitled to your non sexual access. But at the same time as you're making that woman feel entitled to that, you're also setting this precedent to where if she's being dishonest about her intentions or the reason she's not doing it, or if you find out that her history is anything other than that, then you're going to feel like she cheated you. So just stop doing that. If you would find out that, like, listen, this is how you know whether or not you're giving a pass or whether or not you're being genuine. If you find out that she's done exactly what you want her to do and more for someone else, and you get mad, that's how you know you're giving her a pass. And if you don't know a woman, you don't know, if you haven't spent time and vetted a woman out, you you don't know that woman well enough to be giving her a pass. Now, if you got history with somebody, what I mean, that's different. Like, if you got history with somebody showing that they can be sexually consistent with you and you can enjoy each other, or that she's invested in you and she loves you and all these different things from her actions, and you can see it clearly, then it's less of a factor of a pass. Like, you can actually, there's trust there. There's actual rapport that's built. But if that rapport isn't there, nigga, stop giving passes for stuff. If she don't want to fuck with you, tell her to kick rocks with open-toed shoes. Or like my uncle say, burn the road up.